So very recently, there's this new participant who had joined my group, and it was really her third session. And I noticed that her way of being in the group was to be predominantly quiet. And even when she had to say something, there was something really polite and nice about her. And as I was looking at her, I had the sense that I'm not able to tune into her. Like, I'm not able to understand who she really is. So I asked her that, is it okay if I share with you how I'm experiencing you? And thankfully she was like this very open person. And she said, yeah, go ahead. And I shared with her that, Janet, when I look at you, I see this very pleasant and very attractive woman. And I see you, always smiling in the group, regardless of what's happening. And when you choose to speak, there's something very, very correct, very proper about your words. And when I try to tune into you, I just don't have a sense of who you are. And I had this analogy about you. Somehow the word doll came up for me when I think of you. And I wonder, how is it for you to hear that? She took a pause, and there's some light moisture in her eyes. And she said, yeah, Nisha, when you say doll, you mean not real, right? And I said, nah, that sounds harsh, but it sounds more to me like somebody who's not allowed to be real. And the moment I said that, she just ended up crying. And she said, Anisha, I just carry just so much of shame in my system. And over a period of time, I've learned to protect my shame by being this perfect woman. I'm constantly afraid of getting into conflicts. I'm very particular about how people view me. And the consequence of that is that maybe people don't even know who I am, and my quality of relationships are very, very shallow. And that's one of the reasons I am here. I really am longing to have depth in my relationships, and I'm really yearning for intimacy. I was deeply moved by her sharing, and so were other group members. And that time this another woman came in and said that, Nisha, when you used the word doll, I immediately had some tension come up in my body. And while all the descriptions that you gave were resonating for me as well, and I was like, wow, Anisha is giving words to my feelings. And yet when I heard you use the word doll, there was a part of me that was like, oh my God, is she really going to go there? And I had this sense like you had just pulled the cover, and it felt impolite, and my sense was, yeah, all of us can see this, but you're not supposed to say this, right? And she's like, I don't even know why am I telling you all this, because it looks like Janet seems to be really okay with whatever you've said. However, I know that as I was listening to her, something about what she said that really resonated for me, and I turned back and told her that, it's great that Janet was able to see my intention, but if you're feeling upset, that does matter to me. And there's some truth to what you're saying. And she was like, is it really? And I said, yeah, when you use that word, pulled the cover, it's like, it felt like a deja vu. This is something that people have told me in my younger days. And it just reminds me of my childhood and my family culture. I was raised in this lower socioeconomic background, and I so vividly remember my father saying that, you know what, Anisha, being born in the class that we are, we really have nothing to lose. We have nothing to hide from the world. But there's only one thing that we have, and that's our unabashed honesty, our integrity, and that is something the rich don't have. So I didn't even recognize when this whole unabashed honesty became my source of pride. Like I had to compulsively engage in that action to be able to feel good about myself. And today, while I may have moved on the ladders of class, I guess my roots are still lower socioeconomic. And that part of me still has this automatic reaction to just speak my mind out, because that's the culture I came from, where this was considered bold and courageous and really, really cool. Now, when I said that, the woman who raised this issue with me, she said, Anisha, this is so resonating for me. Because when I look at my upbringing, I came from this typical British upper middle class family where there was an emphasis around being polite, and I was constantly told, mind your own business. Even if you see certain things, you're not supposed to call it out. And especially because I was a woman, there was even more emphasis on why I should be pleasant. And from then on, the entire group got into this conversation of how their class was impacting the way they were behaving in the group. And it was fascinating for me to notice that how each one of our behavior is impacted by our backgrounds, and we are not even aware of it. And as I'm sharing this, I'm also curious about you, friends. How do you see your background showing up in your behavior? When you enter a group, do you see your class impacting your comfort or discomfort in terms of the way you take space in the group? Do you see yourself in some kind of autopilot mode? Do you see yourself inhibited in any ways because of the background that you come from?